Moved by Mrs. Reed. Second by Mrs. O'Hagan. Are there any questions or comments?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
A big thank you.
You want to try it out?
Okay, please let the record note that Mrs. Reed would like to try it out. All those in favor? Aye. Board of Education approves the presentation of a scholarship award in the amount of $1,000 sponsored by the Baldwin Oaks Civic Association to be given to a graduating senior at the Baldwin High School Awards Program as detailed in the Friday mailing. Moved by Mrs. Reed. Second by Mrs. Cools. Are there any questions or comments?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
question. Yep. The awards committee, is that equivalent to guidance counselors? So we're saying
There's a subcommittee at the high school.
and but it's the the Baldwin Oaks Civic Association that makes the final determination as to who they select. Okay. Just want to make sure that that's what.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Any other questions? No? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Board of Education approves the placement of a proposition for the establishment of a capital reserve fund on the ballot for the Board of Education vote on May 16, 2017, as detailed in the Friday mailing. Moved by Mrs. Reed.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Dreska. Any questions or comments?
Can we further, just for the edification of the people in attendance, what this does? Explain a little bit more.
Sure, we
What
can.
we're voting to do.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll start, and I guess, and if I stumble, we jump in. And we've done this, we do this periodically. This is to vote to establish a capital reserve fund. It's just to basically open up this bank account. And the capital reserve fund will be funded with any monies that are left over at the end of the school year. So there's no additional cost essentially to the taxpayer to fund this. You know, if we have a year where we spend less than we expected, or we take in more revenue than we expected, we can put some of that into the capital reserve fund, and that's used to fund capital projects, so building projects around it, is building, grounds, things like that, those types of projects. So what you'll see when you go to vote in May is a proposition to establish the fund, and it will list the types of things, the types of work that can be done with the money from the fund.
So it's opening with no money in it.
Right, so we
It's just
vote to open it.
authorization to open the fund.
Right, that's it. So it's going to be open. There won't be any money in it until the end of next year, if we.
It's part of the education law that if you want to create a reserve, it has to be a public
Right.
vote. You have a public vote to create the reserve, just period, that's that vote. And then there's a second vote to put money in the reserve. So there's complete transparency about what you're doing, what you're going to do with the money, and how much you're going to put into it.
And when we want to spend the money, the public has to vote on that
Yeah,
as well.
Vote to take it out of the reserve.
Right.
So it's very,
So you have to vote again to take the money out of the reserve.
Right.
So there's some complete transparency
Mhm.
in creating it, in funding it, and in taking the money out.
Right. Okay.
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure that people knew what we're
No,
doing.
that was good. I just wanted to make sure.
Get the word out now, and when people, are out talking to people, that they can say, this is what it is, so that everyone knows, and we're all on the same page.
Yeah, and there will be information, again, that will come out
We do
in our
budget
budget beat that gets mailed out to everyone that will explain the capital reserve fund as well.
And just, real quickly, we do it because we used to, it's such a convoluted, I don't want to say convoluted, that sounds like it's something bad, but it's hard to account for capital projects inside of your budget. And so, and then there's a process of getting money back from the state, and it's just kind of easier and more clean, from what I understand, to do it this way.
If I can just jump in, the funds that we do year to year, the buildings and grounds, that's really a maintenance thing that we, for the most part, we do with our own staff. Then there are things that we would bond for, which would be very large expenses, like a new building or a wing or something that's millions of dollars, then we would bond for it. The ones in the middle, the boiler replacement that costs $150,000 or $200,000, the a roof repair, or things that fall in that middle category, a little bit too much for the day-to-day, but not large enough to warrant going to a bank and borrowing the money. If we can put a reserve aside to cover those expenses, that's the most practical way to fund those things. But that's how, kind of in a general way, that's how it works.
Good. All right. Yeah, we didn't vote on that, right? All those in favor? Aye. Board of Education approves the designation of District Treasurer Kathleen Brower as approved signatory on district checks as detailed in the Friday mailing.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. O'Hagan, second by Mrs. Reed. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Board of Education approves a contract for one student attending a private residential school for the 2016-17 school year as detailed in the Friday mailing. Oh, change that. Do you have the
We
updated
didn't change it?
I just want to read the, we did, but I didn't bring the updated one. It's just
Oh,
the-
okay.
That's not the updated one, it's the one I have.
Yeah, the new one should
What's
be
the name? It's not United Cerebral.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah,
Here it is. It's
Okay.
this one.
this one, okay. The Cerebral Palsy Association of Nassau County. Thank you both. We have one student attending at a cost of $44,015. Moved by Mrs. Reed,
Second.
second by Mrs. Dreska. Do we have any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Board of Education approves an amended agreement with Just Kids Early Childhood Learning Center to lease Millburn School from July 1, 2017 through June 30th, 2018 at a cost of $21,973.45 per month as detailed in the Friday mailing. Moved by Mrs. Reed,
Second.
second by Mrs. Dreska. Do we have any questions or comments? No? Just for the benefit of those in the audience who may not know, we are renting Millburn to this Just Kids Early Childhood Learning Center, so this is revenue, income to the district in the amount of almost $22,000 a month. All those in favor? Aye. Board of Education approves an agreement with Long Island Children's Museum to provide fish tales workshops to the district's first grade classes and to be funded from the Herman Auerbach Foundation as detailed in the Friday mailing. Moved by Mrs. Reed,
So moved.
second by Mrs. O'Hagan. Any questions or comments?
Just a quick question. This is a 1 year, right?
This is just for this
This
Beach
is another
trip,
1
5
year.
element, yes.
But the grant that we received from them is for 1 year. So
Correct.
It's coming
Well,
from
This
the
is
same.
the second year that we've gotten
Right,
it, but.
correct.
And just, this is like a cool, it's like an off-site learning situation. The buses are paid for this grant. The actual workshop is paid for, so it's a matter of parents signing the permission slip, and kids go and have this great time where they're going to dissect fish and then eat them.
After they cook them.
After they cook it, of course.
It's not sushi.
But it's just one of the many cool things that we're doing in the district to engage our kids and give them hands-on learning experiences. It's very cool.
Any other questions or comments? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Board of Education approves an agreement with Seatuck Environmental Association for the period from April 1, 2017 through June 30th, 2017 to provide an environmental program at a cost of $2,300 as detailed in the Friday mailing.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. O'Hagan, second by Mrs. Dreska. Any questions or comments? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, we're pulling item 9 from the budget, from the agenda, sorry, not from the budget. Moving on to item 10, the Board of Education declares obsolete and approves the disposition of a Fry Master Fryer in the middle school, model FM335 BLSC, which is in disrepair and no longer usable per state rules and regulations as detailed in the Friday mailing. Moved by Mrs. Reed. Second by Mrs. O'Hagan. Any questions or comments? Anybody need a Fry Master? All those in favor? Aye. Board of Education declares obsolete and approves the disposition of a Steinway baby grand piano, asset tag numbers 00702 and 2015050 at Meadow School, which is no longer playable or repairable per state rules and regulations as detailed in the Friday mailing. Moved by Mrs. Reed.
Second?
Second by Mrs. O'Hagan. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Board of Education approves the updated use of facilities report for September 2016 through June 2017 as detailed in the Friday mailing. Moved by Mrs. Reed.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Coles. Any questions or comments?
It's a weird question, just from my understanding. Why did we say September 2016?
Because
versus-
it's an updated use of facilities, because the months vary within it, so that is.
Because it could have been retro as
Correct.
well, right? That's why,
Correct.
so we'll always have to say September 2016.
Exactly.
Okay.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Board of Education adopts the following resolution. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby adopts the annual school election and budget vote ballot notice of annual election and budget vote for the Baldwin Union Free School District to take place on May 16, 2017, and further resolve that the district clerk is hereby authorized to make all necessary steps to publicize the notice as detailed in the Friday mailing. Moved by Mrs. Reed.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Coles. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Board of Education approves the resolution for the reporting requirements for elected or appointed officials as detailed in the Friday mailing. Moved by Mrs. O'Hagan. Second by Mrs. Reed. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Board of Education adopts the 2017-2018 proposed budget in the amount of $128,471,371. Moved by Mrs. Reed.
Second?
Second by Mrs. O'Hagan. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Okay. The Board of Education authorizes administration to prepare and file the 2017-18 property tax report card, the administrative salary disclosure, the 6-day budget notice, and any other 2017-18 budget-related documents as required by law. Moved by Mrs. Reed.
Second?
Second by Mrs. O'Hagan. Are there any questions or comments? No. All those in favor? Aye. All right. So does anyone have anything under other? That's a good question.
Yeah.
You want to bring
For
that?
me, for other, I just wanted us to have some time to talk about the demographic study, so, or some form of presentation.
We're going to have that presentation at the April board meeting.
So we're- All right, there goes my answer.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, so before we open up the floor for our second comment and question period, I just want to read some important upcoming dates. There's a lot of stuff going on, so if you're looking for something to do, there's plenty here to do. Yeah, so let's see, Sports Night is this Saturday, March 11th at the high school. It starts at 7:50 p.m. Daylight savings time is this Sunday. We'll do an hour, moment of silence for the hour. There are lots of concerts coming up. Looks like the start of spring concert season. There's a Sweets and Sweets. This is a fundraising concert at the high school Tuesday, March 21st at 7:30. You can hear music and then get free ice cream afterwards. I guess it's not free. The concert is you buy tickets, but the ice cream is free, included with your ticket, to be more precise. As Dr. Kemi mentioned, Hairspray Junior is coming up later this month, March 23rd, 24th, and 25th. There's a high school drama production at the end of this month. April 1st The school district, well, it will be taking place at the high school. There's a Baldwin open house. I don't know, well, there should be information if you're on social media, you've seen it. This is the initiating event. It's something that the community is trying out this year. The intent there is to really have all aspects of the community represented to showcase the businesses and the homes in the community, the schools and the restaurants and the activities that are available in the community for people looking potentially to move to the community. So if I think you all live here already, but maybe you have friends that are looking to move or buy a house or find out about Baldwin. It's on April 1st at the high school from 11 to 2. So, and there'll be information if you're out there on social media. You should see that information about that. Let's see what else is going on here. Okay, Meadow Spring Concert, since we're at Meadow, Thursday, April 6th, 7 p.m. Spring Break, Monday, April 10th. It's the week of April 10th.
Oh, yeah, that's correct.
That's correct? Oh, that's the week later. Sorry. Right. Oh, we get more than a week off. We come back the following Wednesday, April 19th. I'm sorry. And our next Board of Education meeting will take place Wednesday, April 19th, 8 p.m. at the district office. That covers it. So at this point.
And did we mention that the girls are playing
Yes.
Saturday at Old Westbury at 2:30 for the Long Island Championship? Just wanted to throw that out there again.
I'm remembering everyone's face, so I expect to see you all
$6 at
there.
the door.
All right, so we're going to open up now for our second comment period. This is, it is a timed period, so it lasts no longer than 30 minutes. There is no restriction on the topics that can be brought up, with the exception, again, that we do not talk about individual students or any staff members. Everyone is invited to speak once for a period not to exceed 3 minutes. And we ask, I neglected to mention this before, when you approach the mic, please give us your full name and your mailing address in case we need to get back to you. Again, address your questions to me, and please do so respectfully of everyone in the room. So with that, we're going to open up the mic. If you have any comments or questions, please step up to the microphone.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Hewson. I live at 1054 Jackson Street, so literally down the block. My biggest concern, I am a young parent. I have a first grader in Meadow. I have a kindergarten who will be attending next year. My biggest concern, Mr. Press, is my class size. And the fact that the first graders in October, it was packed, I would say about 24 or 25 students. My concern is how is my child's needs going to be met if the class size continues to grow? From what I understand, within the teacher's contract, that there's no class size limit, which I understand because of, budget constraints and so forth. But after October 15th, if the class size was to grow, then there's no means to get a TA or to create a new section. And that's my biggest concern. With all the demands that you want our students to, obtain and to do well and expectations from our students, how are we going to address that need? And the kindergarten classes, what I have seen when I'm picking up my children, we're looking at 24 to 27 students within that classroom as well. And I'm assuming, based upon, with our students with disabilities, that they are students in that classroom who do have IEPs as well. So that's my biggest concern as a young parent. And I know there's a couple of other younger parents who are around my age who are professionals who are now considering not sending their child to Meadow, but are sending them to private schools due to the fact of the class sizes.
Do you want to address that?
So we watch class size. We've already started watching classes and sections for next year. We watch that now. At this time of year, we watch that on a weekly basis, and we continue doing that through the end of the summer. At the point where we reach the breaking point, we have class size, recommended class sizes that we try and adhere to, which is a board policy that is still currently suspended. When we see that the size of the classes are beyond what is the recommended class size, we split that class. And that goes on through, definitely through the end of August, and we have the luxury of being able to do that going into the month of September as well. What we balance is the splitting of classes once school has started, the educational benefit to the emotional benefit. We have had multiple occasions where it is, let's say, the beginning of October, first week of October, October 1st, and the conversation ensues about splitting a class or not splitting a class. And what happens when you have that conversation in October, you're never the parent that wants your child's class to be changed. So it is definitely a balance of deciding what's best for kids. And every decision that's made is a decision that's made on what's best for kids. Beyond that October date, we have no control over who moves into the school district. And so we do continue to watch that class size. What we have done in every instance is when the number is higher than we consider to be ideal.
And what do you consider ideal then?
Well, we
Because
try,
ideally,
we
my
try,
child would be in the 18 to 20, but now he's in a 27 student classroom to one teacher.
So what we try to do is we try and stay within the recommended class sizes, which is 25 for K to 2 and 27 for 3 to 5. In the instance where that number breaks and we're beyond that October date, what we've done in every instance is we've added either a teaching assistant in there. Our kindergarten, for example, in Meadow, the numbers are higher than we would like, and so we've added monitors because it's now the middle of March. So we do look at class size all year long. We do make adjustments as we can make adjustments. And so in the case where, for example, there's a TA and there's 28 kids in the class, what you really have is a 1 to 14 ratio. All of our teaching assistants, with the exception of one in the entire district, are certified teachers. So when you have a TA in that class, you have 2 fully certified teachers in a class with 28 kids. It's a ratio of 1 to 14. You won't find that anywhere.
I was just going to add one other thing. You might have heard mentioned by Mr. Press of the demographic study that's going to be presented at the April board meeting. We have periodically contracted for demographic studies that project out 5 to 10 years so that we can get as much of a handle as possible on what we can expect in terms of class sizes, what our needs will be for staffing, what our needs will be for facilities. So that's part of our ongoing effort to make sure that, to the extent possible, we don't get too many surprises, that we can figure by the beginning of the year more or less what we're going to have to be dealing with. So we're very much concerned with that predictability, and you know, I wouldn't want you to think that this isn't something that we're very, very aware of and concerned about.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Are there any other questions, comments? No. Okay, seeing no one else at the microphone, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn. Mrs. Reed read my mind. Moved by Mrs. Reed, motion to adjourn. I need a second. Nobody wants a second? I need a second. Second by Mrs. O'Hagan. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
9:29 and a half.